Hello and welcome to Behavioral Science 333. This is Epistemology and Worldview. I am Professor Schmidt, and I just want to say to all of you guys how excited I am to walk through you with this course. This course is very near and dear to my heart. The content within is something that is just so important and fundamental as we really look and analyze that which we believe and why we believe it and how we see the world. And so if you've never stopped and reflected on exactly what worldview is, especially if you haven't done that, this course is, I think, going to be so rewarding for you. And again, I'm just really looking forward to spending the next 8 weeks with you guys and walking through all this content. Again, I'll be blessed by it. I hope that you're blessed as well. What I wanted to do just briefly in starting out here as I'm sending out this message to all of you is to just go over the main contents of the course to make sure that you have reviewed the syllabus, you know what's expected of you. I really want to make sure that this is very, very clear to everybody. I know that online courses sometimes, without having that contact with your instructor, your professor, can sometimes make it a little bit difficult. But if you've been through it a couple of times, especially with Cal Baptist, you know that these courses are very well done. They're very well structured, and you'll do just fine as long as you're following that which is laid out very clearly and making sure that you're reaching out if you ever have any problems or issues. So I'm on the home page here when you are inside of your Blackboard, and I had already left an announcement to all of you. If you haven't seen that yet, please go in there and take a look at that. It's just an introduction of myself and just welcoming you guys to the course. But there are 5 things that I talked about and I'm going to continue to talk about throughout the course to make sure that you are as successful as possible going through this course. And so really briefly, let me outline those. The first one is know, study, and read the syllabus. You have to know the syllabus, you have to read the syllabus, you have to be aware of the syllabus. All that you need to know for the course is outlined in the syllabus, and so I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you go in and review the syllabus multiple times, making sure that you're very aware of that which is expected of you, that which you need to purchase as far as your textbooks. All of that information, again, is laid out. So please, please, please spend some time looking at and reviewing the syllabus. Also, make sure that you create and adjust your schedule for school. You're not required to be in class. My lectures, when they're put up each week, will be very brief. There's nothing that you're being held to as far as time other than the assignment due dates. But it's really easy for an entire week's worth of work to get piled up to maybe one day and to try and do it the last minute, before it's due. So if you just take some time and you start creating in a calendar just times for school, making sure that you have enough time each day to do and work on your assignments, making sure that you know the due dates. If you haven't done that already, I highly encourage that you do. Next, log in and check your Blackboard and your email regularly. I'll be giving announcements weekly and sometimes multiple times throughout the week. If I need to contact you specifically, that'll primarily be through your email, so you need to make sure that you're engaged in logging in on a minimum of every other day. Every day is best, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, but at the very minimum, every other day, make sure that you're in there logging on to make sure that you're up to date. Communicate. Number 4, communicate with me, communicate with your peers. Communicate with your classmates. Make sure that you're involved in the class and communicating, engaging yourself, being involved in the discussion boards, being involved with my communication to you. If anything comes up, if you're confused, if you don't understand, please reach out to me and communicate. Communication all around is one of the key factors that's going to make you successful in this course. Also, number 5, follow all instructions given in the course and utilize all rubrics. All assignments have a rubric. I'm going to grade you off of those rubrics. The assignment instructions are going to be attached to those rubrics. So really it comes down to you making sure that you're carefully reading the instructions for each assignment and also looking at the rubrics. And so one of the points that I would give you is when you're working on assignment, have both the instructions and the rubric side by side, looking at those, looking at what are they asking me to do and how am I going to be graded and what am I going to be graded against on that assignment. So please make sure that you do those. And again, welcome to the course. Just so excited to walk with you guys through these next 8 weeks. Let's really quick just take a quick look at the syllabus, because that'll give us a good overview of the entire course as we go down here. The course description is we're going to integrate and analyze the Christian faith through the process and through the lens of a worldview. How do you understand the world? How do you conceptualize the world? And also, we all have a worldview, right? Whether we know it or not, we view the world through a particular lens. But what is your worldview? Why do you have the worldview that you do, right? And how did you get that? That's the epistemology portion. And also, thirdly, but maybe most importantly, is when you lay that up against the pages of Scripture, is that worldview truly Christian? Is it truly biblical? And so we always need to be putting our worldviews to the test, right? Everything is offering worldviews. The world that we live in today, certain scientific disciplines, academia, in the area of politicians and government. There's all these different areas in life and in society that are offering certain forms of worldview or certain portions of worldview. But we always, again, have to be developing ones that are consistent within, and most importantly, are consistent in the pages of Scripture. So throughout this course, we'll be looking at anthropology, worldview of man, sociology, the worldview of society, psychology, the worldview of again, man and his or her behaviors and thoughts and thought processes. There'll be several different areas that we're going to be looking at when it pertains to worldview, thinking through those and also looking at those and laying those over, again, the pages of Scripture. So just kind of an introduction to the course to kind of let you know what we're getting into. This is my contact information. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can contact me on this number. It'll go through. You'll likely get a voicemail. Leave me a voicemail. I'll get back to you. Best way to contact me is going to be through email. So please, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out and email me. And if you need to set up a time to meet with me directly or to talk or to Skype or something like that, just let me know. Call, leave a voicemail, email me, and we can definitely set something up. The required texts, there's a couple here. You're going to be doing some reading for this course, right? And yes, each one of these texts listed here does need to be purchased by you. You can get it through the Cal Baptist bookstore. You can also purchase them through Amazon. I've checked. Each one is available, at least last I checked, through Amazon. But you need to have the text, okay? You're going to be in them. You're going to be involved with them. You're going to be reading through them. Each week you're going to have selective reading. So again, I cannot say it any more clearly. Please make sure that you get a hold of the textbooks. Cal Baptist, Amazon, you can buy them used. There's other places, wherever you want to get them, that is fine by me. Just make sure that you do go ahead and get those books. A couple of learning objectives. I'm just going to look. There's objective 1 and then some sub-objectives, objective 2 and objective 3. Number 1, students will apply the concept of worldview and epistemology to the psychological and sociological disciplines. Those are the first two that I mentioned when we're looking at worldview, and those are the two primary ones, right? This is a behavioral science course, and so when we look at the behavioral sciences, the worldview of man, the worldview of man's interaction, the worldview of how man interacts in culture and society, that is going to be kind of the undertone of the disciplines that we do look at in this course, and developing a proper worldview of all of those. What is the proper way to look at man through the lens of Scripture? What is the proper way of viewing society? What is the proper way of viewing creation? What is the proper way of viewing the fall? What is the proper way of viewing sin's effect on man? Right? So when it comes to what the Bible and what Scripture has to say about man and his interactions with the world and with each other, these are all going to be underneath that umbrella of the psychological and sociological sciences. Objective 2, students will be able to describe the basic goals of psychological anthropology and compare and contrast how theology and the behavioral sciences attempt to understand human nature. There are some places where psychology and theology do overlap, and there are many places where they do not. And if we do not take the time to develop that proper worldview, we're not going to be able to see the difference. And it's very important that we do, because holistically, the way that the behavioral sciences, secular behavioral sciences, view man is often inconsistent scripturally. And so we need to be able to separate out those two and make sure that our worldview is built up appropriately, foundationally, and theologically with accuracy. Objective 3, students will develop their own model of integration for understanding how the Christian faith and modern behavioral sciences intersect. So again, understanding that. If you don't take the time, such as you will in this course, to really separate those out and to see where they intersect and then also where they conflict, you'll be left to this blend of what the social sciences say, what theology says, and you'll be confused at how to view certain things. And then what'll happen is maybe what's most convenient, what you're most exposed to, will just become the prominent idea or theory in your mind. And so you have to take the time to separate out, right? What is, first and foremost, the appropriate way theologically, scripturally to view man? What does Scripture have to say about it? Because it most certainly says much. And what does the behavioral sciences holistically have to say about man? Where are those consistent? Where are those not consistent? Very important. The capstone paper that you have, obviously, there's a lot being said here. Take the time to read through this in some detail. But you're going to come together with some conclusions. It's kind of your conclusion of worldview, right? Of the things that you've come to conclude about the specific areas of worldview and where they intersect, where they don't, what is the effects of sin, what is atonement, how does that influence mankind, how does that influence society. Again, a variety of components to this capstone paper, but that'll be your largest assignment and also the critical assignment for the course. Each week you will have discussion boards, pretty typical in the online format. Make sure that you are going through, engaging those, following the instructions off of each one. You'll have a series of smaller papers that all will go to serve the foundation of your capstone paper, of where you'll look at a variety of concepts, cosmology, anthropology, sin, salvation, and atonement. And these will all, in the end, be incorporated into the capstone assignment. And then one final assignment that you'll have, you will interview a pastor or a Christian friend who has been walking in the faith for some time. And you will look at some of the categories, alienation, condemnation, enslavement, depravity, and you'll discuss how these relate to your and your church's theology of sin. So you'll spend some time looking specifically at the doctrines of sin, salvation, and atonement. This is the breakdown of the course as far as points go. And so you can see how each one is being broken down and the grading of that. And then a weekly schedule. It's laid out really clear in a really concise way. And so each week tells you exactly what you're doing, what assignments are going to be due. And so you can already start foreshadowing and start scheduling in times to be working on each. And lastly, each week, what I will do under learning activities, you will see that same outline is given. And as we look at week 1 here, it gives you an agenda, the readings that are required of you, and then I'll be posting just a brief lecture, always less than 15 minutes, very brief lectures to just walk through and get you to think through. I will be giving updates and important information, so please make sure that you are checking and watching those lectures. I intentionally make them brief because I know that you've got a lot of other reading and watching materials to go through each week. But again, it's laid out for you. It's as long as you're following the instructions and being very diligent in reading and following all that's laid out for you, you're going to do just fine in the course. But if for any reason anything comes up, please reach out to me immediately. I'd love to help. I'm here for you in any way that I can. And I'm just, again, so excited to engage with you guys in this course. And look forward to starting week 1 here coming up in just a couple of weeks. So make sure you have your books. Make sure you review that syllabus at least a couple of times. And again, look forward to seeing you guys when we start here in about 2 weeks. Okay? Take care. Reach out. Blessings to you guys. Praying for you. I'll see you all soon.